Good morning, everyone. I am so excited. This is Connie Myers, and this is part of my Kick Butt Leadership interview series. And I'm really, really, really tickled. I've only gotten to know this lady in the last couple of years, but I'm really tickled that she's come on board with me today to have a little conversation. Please welcome Barbara Betts. Oh, wait a minute. Why aren't you? Hold on. Hold on. You're not in the screen yet. There you go. What's going on? Ah, there you are.
There I am. Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to be here as well. I mean, Connie, getting to know you over the past couple of years has been such a treat. And I feel so honored to be here sharing whatever we're going to share today.
Well, the first thing I ask every single guest is, were you a leader as a child?
You know, that's interesting. I was more of a follower as a child. I was a leader in action, but I was a follower in, I always wanted to be included and kind of go with the crowd type thing. But I was a leader in my thoughts and my actions. So I would say I was a bit of both. I was a quiet leader. Let's put it that way.
I think you're still a fairly quiet person.
You know, most people, it's funny you sense that out. I'm actually introverted, and people are tell me all the time, no way, like you're lying. I'm like, oh, really? When I go in a room and I don't know anybody, my head is like down in my phone pretending I'm doing something. Once I get to know you and I'm comfortable, then all bets are off. But I'm actually kind of introverted by nature.
You know what? So am I, and people don't believe that either.
Yeah. When I'm comfortable, though, it's a whole different story. But I'm kind of, I can be a little bit quiet when I'm not sure what kind of environment I'm in.
Well, it's really been a pleasure getting to know you, and the more we see each other, the more we get to know each other better.
Yep.
So, how long have you been a realtor?
So I've been in real estate since 2003. So I'm getting ready to start my 18th year, finishing up my 17th year.
Wow.
I pretty much went full time in about 2004, 2005 ish. And it's been, fantastic and wonderful ever since.
Yeah. What did you do before that?
I did accounting. Debits and credits. I sat behind a computer. I was a glorified bookkeeper. I mean, they called me the controller, but I was, 21 years old and I was a bookkeeper. And I was really good at it, but I hated every minute of it. And when people now know me, they're like, you were behind a computer all day long? I'm like, yeah, I was.
Oh, wow. Well, it sounds like we have some very similar paths. Mine a lot longer than yours, but
Yeah, I got out of that pretty quickly. And honestly, I got out of it because I was working for a woman, believe it or not, who was not supportive of having children at home and illnesses and field trips and things like that. And one day my daughter had borderline pneumonia, and her pediatrician was like, I'm either going to put her in the hospital or you're going to stay at home with her with like breathing machine. And she told me at that time that I should hire a nanny for those times because I'm a working woman. And I thought to myself, no one's ever going to tell me again that I can't stay home with my sick children. It's
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Well, how long have you had Betts Realty Group?
So so my husband joined me in 2008. And we started a team at that point. We were with the national franchise. And then we took our team in 2017 and shifted over to an independent brokerage. So Betts Realty Group, as a formality, has only been around since 2017, but we've been operating as that group really since 2008, just continuing to grow it, and then decided to take it independent. The uniqueness about my brokerage is that we operate as a team still inside the four walls. So we still give them all of their staff support, their transaction support, help them, generate their business. And then the difference is outside of the four walls, they no longer have to have my face on all of their marketing, right? So they're still, all realtors are independent. We know that. But when you're on a team, sometimes you lose a little bit of that independence into the team leader. And so when we went independent, they kind of got that independence back. So even though Betts Realty Group has only been around a couple of years, it's really been, the concept has been around since 2008.
I think that's a wonderful concept, really.
It's really a hybrid, and it's getting a lot of attention. I have a lot of brokers across the US calling me about it, because they say teams are here to stay, right? Teams are where the profits are at. Teams are where the stability's at. And I really like to, I pretty much coin it as old school real estate. And the reason I say old school real estate is that my team members still want that support. They want the hands-on broker. They want the hands-on training. They want the hands-on transaction support. And they want someone to be able to cover them when, they've got an emergency on the weekend and they can't do that final walkthrough or whatever it may be. Right. They still want that, but they want their independence as well. And so I'm not a team that hands out a bunch of leads. People know if you come to me wanting to join our team because you want leads handed to you, that's not how we operate. We teach you to generate your business. But I feel like we found that kind of perfect middle ground between brokerage and team. And what people really love about us is when you come to our company, you don't lose that independence. You join a team and you get the support, but you still get to go out and be that independent realtor. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, the client is hiring the person. They're not hiring the brand. So it really has proven to be pretty stable. And I'm excited about the future because we know, brokerages are kind of in this dark tunnel, right? And we don't know what's going to happen. And I'm hearing a lot of statistics that say predictions that over 50% of brokerages won't exist in the next 5 years.
Really?
Yeah. And it's because, as the profits have gotten so small because so many brokerages went to these 100% models, 90, 95% splits. Brokerages weren't built like that back in the 70s and 80s, right? No. You know that. No. Like they were built where the broker provided everything and you paid for it. Now, I think brokerages went with agents demanding these higher splits, and then they had to go to ancillary services, right? Escrow, and they had to start other streams of income. But then, at least in California, the state's pushing back on that. And so the brokers have and they have these big boxes, these big offices where no one comes in, high rent. And so I think that the really small, you're either going to have to be really small like I am, or you're going to have to be super, super big. I think those middle ground brokers are really going to struggle in the next 5 years.
How many are on your team?
So we have 11. Yeah. So we
nice size.
Yeah, stayed small, grown very smartly, very selective in who we invite into our company. Culture is the number one most important thing in the world to me. And then we have an amazing culture. And it takes a special person to not only want to be a part of what we have and be supportive and be a team player, right? Like you're expected, if someone needs something, you're expected to raise your hand if you can. Right? You're not expected to cover everyone all the time, but you are expected, if you're available, to have that culture that you want to help somebody because you're going to need it one day too. And then the other thing is we run a completely relational based brokerage, and not everyone knows how to build relationships, and everyone wants to say that that's what they do, but they don't know how to do it or don't have the courage to do it. So if you don't want to work relationally, I don't know how to help you. Right? So
that's what a Kick Butt Leader is all about.
Yeah, if I tell people all the time, if you want to go learn how to be the best geographic farmer out there, God bless you, more power to you. But I don't know how to teach you how to do that, right? If you want to be just the best, direct mail and focus on marketing and all of that, I don't know how to help you do that. All I know how to help you do is build a business relationally. That's all I can help you with. I can help you be a great realtor in the transaction and everything else. But as far as how you do your business, I have agents come to me and they're like, well, I want to go, I'm going to be the next, blah, blah, blah of the neighborhood. And I'm like, good luck, go somewhere else, because we do really fit this kind of niche agent that doesn't exist in all areas.
What is one of the tips you could give to somebody that wants to have a relationship?
I think everyone should have a shift to relational marketing, because at the end of the day, the consumer wants to work with someone they know, like, and trust, and I always say that, working relationally is about a transfer of trust. So, Connie, if you're a homeowner in my area and your best friend needs to buy or sell real estate and you refer them to me, that buyer is transferring the trust she has in you over to me. And that's a big deal. And so, starting out, I always tell new agents, you have to get to a list of 100 people that know you and like you, and you have to apply a system to get them to trust you. It has to be consistent. It has to be, all the time. And you really, really have to learn how to be, social. You have to learn how to put your friend hat on and then put your realtor hat on. You have to learn how to blur those lines. And it's hard. A lot of people tell me, oh, I don't want to do business with my friends. Well, then you're really missing out, because there's a lot, they say that every single person knows 250 other people. And so I always tell agents, you are not selling to your friends. You're selling through them, right? It's not about your friend or family member buying or selling with you. It's about all the people that they know buying or selling real estate with you. So my best advice is, create your Christmas card list, your, who you would invite to a baby shower, a bridal shower, a wedding, right? Who's your sphere? Get to at least 100. You really need to have more, but get to 100. Everyone knows 100 people. And then start applying a system where they, will trust you.
So you've been working with your husband for all these years.
Yes.
Sometimes that's really good for a relationship, and sometimes it's not. And one of the things you said you like is life-work balance. Yep. So how does that work working with your husband?
Well, if anybody knows him, and some people watching probably do, he's a saint. So that's how it works, because I'm super high strung and OCD and type A, and he is not. I can count on not even one hand the amount of people who don't like my husband. He just has that personality that just goes with everyone. When we started our team together, we realized that where he is strong, I am weak, and where I am strong, he is weak. So we really do perfectly complement each other. I think that the thing we've learned is that in order to work with your spouse, frankly, any business partner, but specifically your spouse, the number one thing that has to happen is respect. Right? You have to respect each other. You have to, I'm the broker, I'm the boss, he's a realtor, so I am his boss, right? According to the state of California, I'm his responsible broker. So he has to respect me when I say, no, we're not going to do it that way, which can be hard for spouses, right?
Oh, yeah.
You have to respect each other on appointments and in relationships and in all areas. But I think one of the biggest benefits of working with your spouse is that no one is going to have your back deeper than your spouse, I hope. No one's going to, defend you like your spouse, I hope. Where we really have figured it out in that whole work-life balance area, and we kind of started doing this by accident probably about 10 years ago, is that we kind of have created an unwritten rule. And this is why our children also don't hate real estate, right? Because their lives weren't disrupted from it. And so we kind of created an unwritten rule that in the evening when we would get home, because people think that because we work together, I see him all day long. We actually cross paths all day long, right? We don't always see each other all day long. What I think is so unique that we did was we kind of created this process where when we get home at night, we're catching each other up on our appointments or what happened, or I'm sitting on the computer finishing up some contracts or some emails. He's very good at cooking, so he's usually cooking dinner. We're still having those conversations. But the second we sit down at the dinner table, we stopped talking about real estate. It was kind of that written rule of like, from dinner time on, we're not going to talk about it anymore. And what happens is we've created this organic way where, let's say at 8:00 while I'm sitting on the couch and we're watching TV, something pops in my head, or I get an email from a client, or I think of something. I don't talk to him about it. I send him an email. So sometimes we're sitting on the couch sending each other emails. So he probably saw it before he went to bed, but then we won't talk about it again until the morning. And when we're getting
that's brilliant.
That's when we
start
our day again. And that has really saved not only our marriage, but also our kids from not having to hear about real estate all day long, right? Well, they're sitting doing their homework at 4:00 and we're cooking dinner. It's normal for mom and dad to be catching up on their day, right?
Right.
They don't need to hear about it all night long. So that's kind of how we kept the lines separated. And then I always say that, a happy marriage is also from mom and dad getting to go out of town and go places together. So we never had to do the whole to our kids, mommy and daddy are going on vacation. It was always, we're going on a work trip, because we usually were, right? But we were able, because some parents won't leave their kids because they're afraid their kids are going to get upset because they're going on vacation without them. Well, my kids just knew we were going on a work trip, and that made sense to them. So there's a lot of benefits to working with your spouse. But
my husband and I, we along with two other people, built the largest home inspection network in the country when the home inspections first started coming out. And I wish we would have had email back then, because we brought some of our kids were working with us, and it was really, we would swear we weren't going to talk about work, and we would end up talking about work, just because of that very thing. The fact that some idea would come into somebody's head, or somebody would have a question that pops into their mind. And instead of sending an email, which would have been brilliant, we would get into these discussions. My husband and I, we worked together for about 8 years, and it took us a while to learn what you already know. I mean, that's wonderful.
You know, the other thing that I encourage anyone who works with their spouse is, and our coach helps us a lot with this, is we have dedicated time on our calendar every other week. And it's called, in fact, it's today, it's this afternoon. It's called an owner meeting. And that owner meeting is where we talk about the P&L. It's where we talk about the budget. It's where we talk about the production that's going on in the company, any issues we're having, because that happens at the office in a conference room where we are acting as owners, and we are not husband and wife at that point. And that's where we have the difficult conversations with each other, right? If I'm dropping the ball because I'm still in production, he's still in production. If one of us is dropping the ball on activities or whatever we're doing, that's where we have those conversations. We don't have them at home on the couch. And
I love it.
Our coach put that in place, and God bless her for doing it, because it did get to a point where we were bringing the stress home. We're going to have that, did January go well or not conversation in a couple of hours at the office. We're not going to have it over the dinner table tonight at Valentine's Day. And that really helps as well.
Absolutely. That's a great tip for anybody. Actually, that's a great tip for anybody that's working with any kind of family member.
Or any partner in general, because what I've learned is you can drift really easily. You cannot pay attention to things, and all of a sudden you're drifting, and all of a sudden it's June and you're nowhere near your goals, and you don't have any time to pivot or correct or improve. And so it's also where all week long, when I'm thinking of ideas, or I get, a new system, whatever. I don't take time during the day when he's writing contracts and I'm dealing with other things. I just put it on the list for the owner meeting, and we talk about it then. Some friends do it once a week. I think that's a bit much. We ran out of things to talk about, so we went to every other week, and that seems to work really well.
Awesome. Well, I've heard you speak. You're a great speaker.
Thank you.
What is your favorite topic to talk about when you speak?
I really have 3 of them. Well, my first topic, really anything about relationships, whether it's relational marketing, whether it's relationships within a brokerage, whether it's relationships in your community. Relationships is my favorite thing to talk about. Alongside that would also come work-life balance. I've helped, and I don't like to call it work-life balance. It's just what people connect to. I call it priority management, because it is all about managing your priorities. It's about what's most important to you. And that I really have seen help so many young parents. And I don't just say moms. I've had dads come up to me too and say, I got to knock it off. Like, I got to stop missing the soccer game to do an open house. Time's precious with your little ones. And I have a 23-year-old and a 19-year-old. And the reason they don't hate us as realtors, and they actually think it's pretty cool what we've been doing our whole career, is because they didn't have to sacrifice, right? They didn't miss out their activities because mom and dad were doing things. And then the third thing is at my core, I'm a risk management nerd. Our association attorney tells me all the time that I should go back to law school. Well, not go back to law school, go to law school. And I tell him, that's not happening. I don't have time to do that. But I do love that part of our business. And when I say I love the risk management, I don't love the risk management because there's legal issues in our business. I love the problem solving part and the teaching on how you can be a better realtor and avoid ever being in a legal or ethical situation. Like, that's my passion, is making realtors better. Because I think so many times brokers and trainers just throw sales at you. Go sell, go sell, go sell, go generate leads. And yes, you have to do that, but they're not reminding you, oh, you really need to know your contract. You really need to know how to have conversations. You really need to understand the real estate law, because you're going to get yourself you can sell a lot of houses, but you can really put yourself at risk and your client at risk if you don't understand all the other aspects of our business. So lead generation is obviously number 1, but understanding this business has got to be number 2. And I just don't think enough people teach on it, especially the code of ethics. We all know that's one of the least. You can watch these videos that NAR puts out, but they're horrible, right? They're boring. No one's paying attention. They're just clicking. I teach it from like a real life perspective point of view of, these are the things I see. These are where people are violating the code of ethics. This is how you can do a better job. So I love that as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you and I are both a part of a couple of groups.
Yes.
And I really, I really want to take a couple minutes and talk about awesome females in real estate.
Yes. Yes.
Bernice Ross. I mean, this is going to be my 12th year that I attend.
Yep.
And how many years have you gone?
So I went 2 years ago was my first year. And then last year I couldn't go because I was in Europe and I wasn't going to change my family Europe trip for females. So I'm still a newbie. But I'm very much looking forward to this year.
Awesome. It's going to be very awesome. So what do you think is some of the, first of all, besides just loving Bernice Ross, besides that, why do you think that Awesome Females is so beneficial?
You're probably not going to be surprised when I say this. It's about the relationships. It always goes back to relationships, because here's how I view Awesome Females. I was invited into that group, network, whatever you want to call it, tribe, because I had met other awesome women, right? I had met Bernice through being at Inman, through knowing other people. That's how you get connected to something like that, right? It's not advertised on the internet as anyone come. It's really someone tapping you on the shoulder and saying, hey, you would really benefit from this. So then you attend and you meet all these other amazing, awesome people, for lack of a better term. And it's so welcoming. It's such a welcoming, open, transparent group that you immediately get this feeling of trust. You immediately get this feeling of you can share in a safe place with women who really want to support you and watch you grow. From that came relationships, right? That's how I met you. That's how I got to know Sarah Kosowski better. We're dear friends now. That's how I really got to know Deborah Trapin. Jennifer, right? I mean,
oh yeah,
women who are, I mean, I now know the star of a TV show and my friends are like, how do you know her? And I'm like, Awesome Females. Like when
Awesome Females.
Relationships, that's how I got to know, Alex so well, and all relationship based. From those relationships comes other opportunity, right? It's how I've got some of my speaking engagements. It's how I'm getting propped up and supported and pushed and championed. It all goes back to, though, a relationship. And that's why I tell people in real estate, if you're not working relationally, you are so missing out, because that's where all the goodness comes. So I just think it's a fantastic group. I love the transparency of it. I love the safety net of it. It's very safe. And then again, you learn, right? You're learning from other amazing, strong, independent women who are not trying to bash the world. We're not trying to, we're not talking about some secret thing that we're just trying to help women be better. Be better moms, be better sisters, be better friends, and be better realtors. And it's a phenomenal group. I adore every woman in that group.
Oh, yeah. I mean, over the years, it's been phenomenal, the people I've met, people like you, and like you said, Jennifer, and being able to say that a big TV star,
right?
Not bad.
Being able to message her during the show and be like, "Hey, girl," and being able to tell someone like her. What I messaged her the other day, and I said, because I knew she was involved in more of the production of it. And for those of you that don't know what we're talking about Listing Impossible. It's actually the first reality TV real estate show that I actually am enjoying. And it's not just because Jennifer's in it. The reason I'm enjoying it is because it's honest. Like, he's going in there and telling, I'm sorry the other 4 brokers lied to you or embellished what they could do, but your home's not worth what you've tried to list it 4 different times. No one's come in and been honest with you. I love that the commissions although there's no set commission in real estate, we know that, but we know when we look at $1 million listing, right? And some of the numbers they're putting up there, go check the MLS. That's not what's happening. You get what I'm saying, right? And I text Jennifer during the show and I was like, oh my God, girl, thank God I now know why you're a producer. This is real this is honest. This is accurate. She's like, yeah. And I told him I wouldn't do it any other way. I wouldn't do it if it's like fake real estate world, because the consumer's watching that thinking that's not how it works. So I just, again, knowing her and knowing that her ethics and her morals are behind it is why I think it's turning into be a pretty good show.
Yes, definitely. We're trying to schedule, I'm going to be back in LA next week, and we're trying to schedule a time for me to interview her, but she's being interviewed by all these biggies out there, so
right.
Yeah, my turn.
She's a big deal. But again, it's a relationship, right? I don't look at her on TV and go, oh, I can't talk to Jennifer anymore. Or if I text, she won't respond. I mean, like I said, I'm texting her while the show's on. I know she's sitting and watching it too. Like, it's just really cool.
It is very cool.
And I think what people don't realize is these networks is because people, whether it's women, men, doesn't matter what kind of group, people want to belong. They want to belong.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, they want to connect. So.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad you were able to come on and do this with me.
Thank you.
Took the part off about, I'm going to send the whole thing to Awesome Females, but then I'm going to send a separate clip just for Bernice so she can take advantage.
Yeah, so, she absolutely should. It's you know, it's been on my calendar since it was announced, and it's still there. It's not moving, and I will be there.
Well, if I don't see you before, I'll see you there.
You will for sure. Thank you so much, Connie. I appreciate all you do for the industry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, I'll be back with another great interview this afternoon, Natalie Leone. And so look forward to that. Thank you so much, Barbara. And
you're very welcome.
All of you, check out Beth's Realty if you're anywhere close to Long Beach.
Yep.
And she has a great Facebook Live. How often do you do your Facebook Lives?
And we try to do it every Friday morning, my husband and I, and it's pretty entertaining, and we have a lot of fun with it. So yeah, check it out. I highly encourage any realtor out there, find a topic, find something you can do consistently, and get on Facebook Live. You'll be amazed what happens.
I love it. My to 70 and beyond, I absolutely love doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, my dear. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Have a great afternoon, and I will be back.
Thank you.